Richie Rich Show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on, my people? It's Trucker Richie Rich, hitting you from the ones and twos, the ins and outs of this trucking game. I'm somewhere in the middle of Lost, Indiana. Just dropped a load off this morning, and luckily I got a good load after this. I guess luck will be the lady tonight, because a lot of guys are complaining that they're sitting, and a lot of guys are saying their next load is pretty bad. So hopefully this load pretty good. It's not, the revenue is not where I wanted to be, but what can you do, right? We're in a bad market. Anyway, this video I'm making, right? It's probably bad advice, but I keep it real, right? Like, you guys, when I make these videos, it's how I feel. And I'm not black and white anymore, meaning I don't follow the rules anymore. Since I've been in this lifestyle for the last 11 years, my perception of what's right and wrong just changed, completely, especially what I see out here. And what I'm talking about is, DOT, the scale houses. I'm making this video because I was leaving, where was I leaving? Arkansas the other day, and when I was walking to the truck stop, this new driver stopped me. He was like, and he showed me a scale ticket, and he was like, "Yo, I'm like overweight by like, I think he weighed like 81,000 pounds or something." And he was like, "Man, what should I do?" And I said, "Well, nothing you really can do. You're overweight." He said, "Should I stop at the scale houses?" I said, "Tell you the truth, get on Trucker Path, and if you see that they don't have no chase car, keep going." I said, "Don't stop, because you set yourself up." That's like self-snitching. It is, And the reason I say that, right, and some people might think this is bad advice, but the truth is, DOT, the scale houses out here, they're not out here to help you. They're out here to take money out your pocket. Okay. I'm gonna tell you a situation that happened to somebody that I worked with at my old company years ago, and he got screwed. He was a new driver, and what happened to him happened to me, but I dealt with it differently than he did. He wished he dealt with it the same way I did. And basically what happened was, up in Washington, they got this apple orchard that sits out in the middle of the desert up there. It's like 30 miles away from like the nearest truck stop. I mean, it's real barren. It's up there on some Indian reservation land. Okay, it's just like way out. So he got a load from there, picking up out of Washington State, going to Landover, Maryland, going to the I want to say that's the Whole Foods in Landover, Maryland, near the what is it, the Redskin Stadium over there. Oh wow, that's close. Oh, this truck stop is tight. Anyway, he got up there. When they loaded him at 83,000 pounds. Okay, what happens is, during certain seasons, apple producers and produce producers in general, they like to get all the produce onto the truck as much as they can. Okay, it's a really a greed thing, and this is where I take issue with some things in trucking that is not fair. And one thing is not fair is the product. Okay, we're responsible for getting to A to B, right? But a lot of times we don't know what's on the truck. Like, I have no clue what's on the truck sometimes. Okay, sometimes these bills are in codes, and I just don't know what it is exactly. One time I thought it was one product, and it turned out being another product. But this is where I think DOT should really find the shippers, okay, not the truck driver. So what happened was, they put 83,000 pounds of apples on his truck. So he didn't realize that he was that heavy. Okay, he drove to the nearest truck stop, which is 30 miles away. Now, from this time I'm making this video, they might have put another one up there, but at that time it was 30 miles away. And he got down there, he was 83,000 pounds. So he turned back and went back to the shipper, the apple orchard, and they were gone. Okay, they closed the doors and they took off. So He drove his truck from Washington State all the way to Landover, Maryland. But what he did is he stopped at every scale house that gave him a red flag. So by the time he got to Landover, Maryland, he owed almost $12,000 in fines, okay, in overweight tickets. And I think that's wrong. Now, I don't know what happened to him per se. I'm sure that it was paid, or maybe some payment plan worked out, or whatever. This is during a time where trucking was booming, so I'm sure they didn't fire him for that because he's a new guy. But every scale house that he passed through, every state, they hit him with a fine. And some of these fines, right, they can be a half a penny overweight up to 10 cents a pound overweight, okay? So these things stack up really, really, really high. And really what they are, they're not really fines. They are permits for you to be that heavy driving through the state. They just call it a fine. But they're permits. And you have 24 hours to leave the state with that weight. Well, if you don't, the next scale house gets you, they'll hit you again, okay? So they really jammed him up with about thousands of dollars of fines, okay? Now, let me tell you what happened to me. I went up there to that Indian reservation up in Washington, to this apple orchard. I wish I remembered the name. I went up there on a Friday evening. My appointment was for 4 o'clock Friday, okay? I get up there, and the guy says, hey, back into this door. I back into the door, and about an hour later, about 5 o'clock, he runs out, gives me the bills, jumps in the car that was waiting right by my truck, and takes off. So I was like, damn, that was quick. So I get up, I pull up, I look in the back, the chairless filled from the front to the back, okay? So I close the doors, and I head down to this pilot down here 30 miles away. When I get there, I was 82,000 pounds, okay? So what I decided to do is I went back to the shipper, and they were closed. So I called Stevens, and Stevens tells me, they're like, listen, I can't tell you to run this load, and I can't tell you not to. Only thing I can tell you is they won't be back until Monday morning for them to rework it. Now, mind you, this is the middle of an Indian reservation in Washington where there's nothing around, okay? And this was Friday, and I was a lease operator, okay? So as a lease operator, I was hit with double-edged swords left and right, okay? I couldn't lose the revenue. That was a good paying load going from Washington to Landover, Maryland, and I was in a dilemma. I think that's unfair, okay? They should not do that to the truck driver because we have no responsibility whatsoever how they load our truck. We just have to deal with it. DOT should fine them, the shipper, and then they'll stop doing shit like that, okay? Well, anyway, I'll tell you what I did. So I sat there and I thought about it for a minute. I was pissed. I think my appointment was on Wednesday morning. So it was the only load I would have had for that week. Now, mind you, my mental at that time, I was thinking, hell, if I don't run this load, I'm going to be in the hole. Okay, I'm going to be negative $1,000 or plus dollars. Plus, I don't want to sit in the middle of an Indian reservation where there's no truck stops, no rest areas, no nothing for the whole weekend. Not to mention, this apple farm, ironically, next door to it was a pig farm. And the pigs smelled putrid. I mean, it stunk to high heaven. Okay? So, basically, I just sat there pissed. And I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to run it. So, I ran from Washington State all the way to Landover, Maryland. But what I did is every scale house that I got a red light, I kept going. I blew it. Okay? I didn't stop. I was like, fuck DOT that day. And I'm being honest with you guys. I'm telling you what I did. Because I think it was unfair, right, that they put that on the truck driver like that. If I'm overweight, the shipper should be paying that fine. Okay? So I blew every scale station from Washington State to Landover, Maryland. I got to West Virginia. I think, let me think. Yeah, West Virginia. I was on 70. And there was one scale house left. And by the grace of God, they just closed. Okay? And I blew past them and I made it all the way to Landover, Maryland, unscathed. Okay? Yes, I took a big risk doing that. Okay? Had I had an accident or incident that was serious in nature, I would have been held full responsibility for what happened. I'm talking about my brakes would have failed, coming down these mountains, or I would have hit somebody, or caused a bad accident, my charges would have been aggravated. But I think that it's unfair that the industry puts overweight tickets and stuff on truck drivers. Okay. And my advice to you guys, right? And now that I've been in this industry for 11 years, I'm going to give you some bad advice that I think is true. Run the fucking scale houses. Don't pay these bastards. Okay? DOT job is to take money out the working man's pocket. Okay? Fuck all that safety shit. I'm telling you as an ex-police. It's about revenue. Okay? And for some reason, man, they like to rob working men here. Okay? I'll tell you another situation I had. This happened years ago at the Monmouth facility in Monmouth, Illinois, where I picked up a meat load. Now they built a Love's there, which I got to give a shout out to Love's. Thank you for building Love's throughout the country. You guys are awesome. Okay. But before, years ago, there wasn't a Love's there. So I picked up this Monmouth facility in Illinois. It's a meat load. I was overweight by about like 400 pounds. I get to the first scale house, which was like 70 miles away, I think going towards Peoria, Illinois. And DOT pulls me in there. The guy does. Now, on the DOT, on the FMCSA laws and regulations, you're allowed a 100-mile grace period. Okay, before you have, if you pull to a scale house within 100 miles of where you're going, they're supposed to let you work the load and let you fix it, and then let you correct your mistake, give you like an hour or 30 minutes, right? This particular dickhead DOT officer walks me in there, snatches my CDL from me, and writes me a citation for like $650, and that I had to pay right then and there. I couldn't leave. And I said to him, your bylaws in the FMCA say, hey, you have a 100-mile grace period. This asshole says, well, they're more like guidelines. We can follow them or not. I said, I was a police, right, for years. And, I understand that shit. Okay. But personally, I wouldn't jam up another guy. And, first thing I had in my mouth was, well, nothing I can do about it. So I had to cut him a check for $650, right, before I could leave. And I was only overweight, maybe like 400 or 500 pounds, right? So from that day on, I said, fuck those guys and fuck those people, okay? Because it's all about money. It's nothing to do with safety. If it was about safety, hey, listen, guy, you're a little overweight. Let's figure you out, okay? Let's help you out. Like some DOT officers are. But that particular dickhead just put a bad taste in my mouth. And from there on, I just said, you know what? I'm not running the risk of being fucked. Okay, I'm just being honest with you guys. So this is some bad advice, and I'm sure some of you guys will have a problem with this, but fuck DOT. Okay, fuck them. I mean, I understand why guys go around to scale houses. I understand it's almost a cat and mouse game out here. Okay, and this is a lifestyle that we've chosen. Okay, so that's my advice. It's bad advice, but it's my advice. I told that driver, I said, look, if you can go around the scale houses, do it. Okay, they're not your friend. They're not. They're going to write you tickets, and then, now what happens if you blow a scale house? They do chase after you. They can pull you over. They give you a ticket for evading. Okay, tickets sometimes $800 or more. One time, I had a guy who blew a scale house in Mississippi. They drove down on him and put a gun in his face. Extra shit. Okay, that unnecessary. But they did that. And they gave him a level 1 on the side of the highway, and they gave him a ticket for $800, which he had to pay in 30 days or have his license suspended. Okay, but is it worth it to blow him? Yeah. It's up to you. Sometimes trucking, I notice this industry puts drivers in precarious situations, right? Where we're the first to get fucked. And we're just picking the load up from A to B. Okay? We have no idea what's on the back of that truck sometime, or how they put the weights. I mean, you get a new loader and they load the product wrong on the truck, and you're all fucked up, right? And then who loses out? Well, the driver does. Okay? Because what happens is, if they load the trailer wrong, and then they got to rework you, and sometimes they move at the pace of a fucking snail, And then next thing you know it, your company's calling you to ask you for a repower or a relay, because now you sat there for 10 hours trying to get reworked, and now you lose out all the money because you got to get the load up, right? So sometimes you got to do what you got to do out here, and that's what I realized. So Renegade Trucking all the way. Peace, love. Hope you guys enjoy your holiday. I'm debating if I should stay out here during Thanksgiving. I know I haven't stayed out during Thanksgiving in 7 years, maybe more, maybe 8 years. But the way the market look, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm not really thrilled about that. I'm debating if I should just go home and just say screw it. This is why planning and saving is so important in trucking. Okay. Anyway, guys, peace and love. Talk to you soon. Bye. Some nerve-wracking shit right there. God damn. Nerve-wracking. Oh God, look how close he is. Nerve-wracking shit.